YouTube channel. I finally decided to start making YouTube content. I've wanted to do this for a while, pretty much since I went vegan as a form of like sharing my journey with you all. And I thought with 2020 and the pandemic and just being at home all the time, now would be a good time to actually start putting out YouTube content. The video today that I wanted to do is a sort of cooking mukbang video. And those of you who follow me on Twitter, I tweeted about doing this video and I asked if you had any questions you wanted me to answer during the video. So while I'm eating, I'll be answering those questions for you guys. So what we're making today is something that I actually used to make a lot when I was a full-time university student. It's like a upgraded vegan instant ramen. So when I was in university, I was obviously as a student quite poor, so I used to have ramen a lot, and as a way for me to be full, I used to add a lot of things into my ramen, like veggies, mushrooms, fish cakes. Obviously this was before I was vegan, and egg and cheese and stuff like that, and obviously now that I'm vegan I don't add that stuff anymore. So today what we will be using is this VeggieSoon veggie ramen by Nongshim, and if you guys have heard of the company Nongshim before, they're pretty much like the OG ramen creators. They did Shin Ramen, which I don't think Shin Ramen's vegan. I'm not sure if anyone knows if it's vegan or not. Let me know in the comments below, because I'm not sure. I actually stopped eating it because I wasn't sure if it was vegan or not. But this one is a good alternative, and you can get it from pretty much any Asian grocer. If you don't have an Asian grocer, maybe you can get it from like the international section of your local supermarket. So what we're going to be adding to the ramen today to kind of bulk it up is some pak choy and some flat mushrooms, and I've just chopped them. We're also going to be adding some Asian mock meats. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I love Asian mock meat. So what I've got here, these are like little vegan fish cakes, and this actually isn't mock meat. This is just called like stuffed bean curd. I actually have the packaging to show you guys. So here you can see this is the vegan fish cake. So it says vegetarian, but anyone who's familiar with Asian culture, vegetarian mostly means vegan. You just still have to check the ingredients, but it's usually pretty safe. And then I've like used it all, but this is the vegetarian stuffed tofu. This stuff is amazing. It's going to go really well with the instant ramen because it really soaks up the broth. We're also going to be adding, there's a lot of soy going in this. There's a lot of tofu. I'm Asian, I love tofu. These are bean curd rolls. I think it's just fried bean curd and they somehow roll it. It's really amazing I put it in hot pot. It goes really well with soups. So I think it will work really well today with this instant ramen. And I've also got here, if you can see, I don't know if you can see because of the lighting, but that is just some silken tofu that I've like kind of mashed up because I'm trying to get it to replicate the egg that I used to add into my ramen before I went vegan. Okay, so I think I've pretty much showed you everything that I'm going to add, so I'm going to start the cooking now. It says to add 500 milliliters of water, but what I'm going to do, because before I was vegan, I used to add like processed smoked cheese to my ramen to make it kind of creamy. What I'm going to do instead is add 250 milliliters of water and 250 milliliters of oat milk with some nutritional yeast to kind of give it that creamy, cheesy flavor. I don't think you have to be exact, but I just like to measure things out. But you can kind of eyeball it as well. Like I do that a lot too when I make Thai food. A lot of Thai cooking is eyeballing and sort of tasting to make sure everything is to your liking. That's some nutritional yeast. I actually didn't know about nutritional yeast until I went vegan. I think that's the case for most people, but it has changed my life really. Just whenever I'm craving something really creamy and cheesy in a soup, I always add nutritional yeast. Add a little bit more. Because why not? You can never have too much nutritional yeast. That's actually how I feel about tofu and bean curd. Like, I know I'm adding a lot of tofu and bean curd into this dish today, but I don't know, maybe it's the Asian in me. I just feel like you can never have too much tofu. Okay, now that the water's boiled, you can actually add the ramen in. Just turn the heat down a bit. It's actually boiling a lot. And I'm actually sitting in my lounge room at the moment because the lighting is not great in the rest of my house, and at the moment the lighting in the lounge room is the best, so I'm actually cooking on my coffee table at the moment. Okay, and also you got to add the soup base because that's where all the flavour is. So when I was not a vegan, I actually used to add fish cakes into my ramen. Before I add them, I'd cut them like this. So I guess I'd do the same with the vegan fish cakes because it reminds me of when I used to eat them before I went vegan. And they taste exactly the same, like, and that's the amazing thing about Asian mock meats. Like, they're so realistic that sometimes vegans actually can't eat them because they get weirded out. And I know my partner T, who has been vegetarian his whole life, so he's never had meat, and we went vegan at the same time. He actually sometimes can't even eat some of the vegan mock meats because to him it's a foreign concept because he's never had it before, but he definitely does like most of them. Oh, that smells amazing. Okay, I'm gonna add the veggies in now. Yeah, I always add too much pak choi, but I don't know, I'm a really big fan of it. Another sort of thing that I think you can't get enough of. But I guess that's just the Asian in me. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be using all the pak choi because the pot is actually quite full already. Okay, so I'm gonna add the silken tofu now. Let me know in the comments what your type of favorite tofu is. I love all types of tofu and bean curd. Again, I just think that's because I'm Asian. But let me know what you all like when it comes to tofu and bean curd. Like, tofu is such a versatile cooking ingredient. Like, so I get really kind of I get a little bit upset when non-vegans say that tofu is gross because tofu is not gross. They just don't know how to cook it. Okay, these bean curd sheets, they actually don't take that long to cook, so you actually add them at the end when everything's done. Which I think everything is pretty much done. See, that was really easy. Let me know if you all like green tea. Like, I'm really obsessed with it. I have it hot, I have it chilled, I have it flavored, unflavored. This one's unflavored. I just really love green tea. Okay, now time to eat. Okay, so I have a little inside joke between me and my cousins. We call these things hair ties, an Asian girl's best friend, and that's because every time we have noodles or ramen or anything that we have to sit over and there's broth, we tie our hair back so our hair doesn't get into the broth. Alright, let's have a look at the questions I've got. Okay, so the first question is from Hoppy Jolene. What are your favorite types of cats? This is a tricky one. Anyone that knows me knows that I really love cats. I love all types of cats, like big cats, wild cats, obviously domestic cats. We've got 2 cats at the moment, 2 rescue cats. One cat I adopted before T and I met, and he's 7 years old. His name's Dexter. He's black and white. You would have seen me post photos of him on if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Oh, that's really good. And our other cat, we adopted her probably about 2 years ago now, and her name's Willow. So I've always loved cats, and my love for cats actually was one of the reasons why I sort of made the connection to go vegan. This bean curd roll is so amazing in any type of food that has a broth, because it just soaks up the soup. I'd say I don't really have a favorite type of cat, but if I had to choose like a domestic breed, I'd probably choose the Maine Coon. But I would probably never be able to have a Maine Coon cat as a companion animal, just because you can really only get them through breeders, and I don't believe in buying cats. I believe in like adopting companion animals and, you know, saving their lives. So yes, adopt, don't shop. But if I was to choose my favorite sort of big cat, I think I'd choose the snow leopard. I just think their prints are really beautiful, and they just have striking features. Okay, I've got some fish cake. Honestly, that vegan fish cake is so good. I gave that to like my mum, who's not a vegan. She loves fish cake as well. She probably wouldn't be able to tell. Okay. So with the VeggieSoon ramen by Nongshim, it's like a mild flavor. It's not spicy like the Shin ramen, which, I mean, if you're someone who has a low tolerance level to spice, this would be really good. Because I remember even sometimes when I would eat Shin ramen, it would get a little bit too spicy for me at times. That was the stuffed bean curd that I just had. So these, can you see they're stuffed inside? If you can get your hands on anything like this, I highly recommend it. That nutritional yeast and the oatmeal just takes the broth to like another level. But yeah, this is a really good meal for like if you're someone who, you know, has a lower income, if you're a student, or for any reason that pay cycle you just a little bit strapped for cash. This is a really good meal just to have. It's definitely not something I eat all the time, because ramen is highly processed, like instant ramen, but it's so delicious. Okay, next question. Okay, this question's from But Is It Vegan? Name your most to least like between 1 noodles, 2 potatoes, 3 rice, 4 bread, and 5 tofu. It's really tough. Definitely, I think number 1 goes to noodles. I don't know, noodles is just a good comfort food. You don't even need to have it with tofu. You can just like have like noodles, udon or ramen in like any type of veggie broth with like chili oil. Sometimes that's what I eat and I'm pretty satisfied with that dish. So yeah, noodles is definitely number one. Number two is definitely got to be tofu. As you can tell, look at all the tofu that I've added into my dish today. I really like tofu. Number three is definitely rice. I used to be the type of person where I actually needed to have rice with every meal. So even if I was having like a dish like this, since I've started my fitness journey, I try to limit like the amount of carbs I eat in one sitting. Like I'm already having like quite a carby meal. I didn't want to add like rice to it. So next is definitely potatoes. Another comfort food, mashed potatoes in winter with like vegan sausages and gravy. Mashed potato with like a vegan roast for like Sunday roast, which I do sometimes. Mashed potatoes with vegan meatballs. Yeah, you can't go wrong with potatoes. And also like chips, which you guys in the US would call fries. They're amazing. Wedges, gems, hash browns. So many things can be made with potatoes. So potatoes is definitely my next one. And the last one would be bread. I actually don't eat that much bread. I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I find it actually bloats me quite a bit when I have bread, so I do try to avoid it when I can. Like for breakfast, I usually try to stick to having oats for breakfast. I never usually have like bread, like toast with any type of spread or anything like that. But I do love a good vegan sanger from Smith & Deli. You might have heard me talk about Smith & Deli before. They're a vegan deli here in Melbourne. And they do really good vegan sandwiches. They do stuff like vegan pastrami, salami, pepperoni and stuff like that. It's all really legit. It's delicious. If I lived close to Smith & Deli, I'd probably be there all the time. But I don't, unfortunately. So I'm eating this. I'm actually sitting, as I said before, I'm sitting in my lounge room. I've got to have the AC on because it's really like hot steam in my face. But it's a hot day today in Melbourne, so I'm sweating pretty badly. Worth it. What's a comfort food that you all like to eat? Like, what's your go-to comfort food? Let me know in the comments below or let me know on Twitter. I think my main comfort food for me, definitely instant ramen, Japanese curry, or any curry, but mostly Japanese curry with like a tofu katsu, and probably vegan bagels and mash. My top 3 comfort foods. So next question is from 3X Goose, and the question is favorite anti-vegan argument. This one's gonna be fun. I think my favorite anti-vegan argument definitely would have to be, this is more coming from like people from my own culture, that I'm betraying the culture or abandoning the culture by being vegan. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you know how ridiculous that is, because a lot of these mock meats that I eat were actually created by Buddhist monks centuries ago, as an act of hospitality to visitors at their temples. So they made these vegan mock meats so people would still be able to eat the foods that they were used to eating when they weren't visiting the temples, and it was a way to make sure that no one was left out. I think that's so beautiful, but unfortunately not everyone in Asian culture knows that. So that's why some people say that I'm abandoning the culture. I'm not as Thai, I'm not as Asian because I'm vegan now. Vegan's a white person thing. As for my favorite, I don't get enough protein. Oh Lord. Or someone would say to me, oh, I can't go vegan because I need protein. If you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you've seen my fitness photos. I've got muscles. Like, I definitely get enough protein. And protein's like it is important, but it's definitely not something that everyone should be like super concerned about. I think more non-vegans should be concerned about their fiber intake. Because I know for a fact that before I went vegan, I definitely was not getting enough fiber. I can't get enough of these tofu skin roll thingies. They're so good. They're really good if you ever like have a chance to do like a Szechuan hot pot with friends and family. Definitely get these tofu rolls. They work so well in like the spicy broth. They just work in any broth really. Next question is by my beautiful friend Viet Vegan Virgo. If any of you are following her on Twitter, please do. She's amazing. So her question is, what's your favorite veganized Thai dish? That's a hard question for me. I'm gonna say that's a hard question for me. Most of you know, well, if you don't know, I am Thai, so I eat a lot of Thai food. I think my favorite veganized Thai dish so far would have to be tom yum, because you can't go wrong with a good tom yum. Just another good comfort food. It's like hot and spicy, sour, the lemongrass, the kaffir lime leaves, they're just amazing. The tom yum paste that I've used for years is actually accidentally vegan. Could you believe that? People were really surprised actually when I told them for the first time. This is actually the tom yum paste that I use. That's it, it's vegan. I was actually kind of worried about Thai food the first time I went vegan, because even though I knew about the Asian mock meats before I was vegan, and I did have them every now and again, it wasn't really in the forefront of my mind when I first went vegan. So my initial reaction was like, oh damn, like I'm gonna like veganize all my favorite Thai dishes without fish sauce. But the one thing that really was a game changer for me with Thai food was this product right here. Vegan fish sauce. Now, if you knew me before I was vegan, I loved fish sauce. I love the smell of it. And this stuff, if you guys can smell it right now, it's so pungent. It smells like it has that fish sauce pungent smell that I love. Ugh. So I was really happy when I discovered it. Okay, so next question is from All-Star Runner, who some of you may or may not know is the love of my life. He's my partner. We've been together for 5 years. We've been vegan together for almost 2 years. I know him as T, but you probably know him as All-Star Runner. So his question is actually a really good one, and one that I probably have to think about a little bit. What does Asian representation within the vegan movement mean to you? I think it means acknowledging like a lot of like stuff like this, the mock meat and stuff, did originate in Asian culture, and it's not something that's really widely talked about within the vegan community. A lot of people actually don't know this, but a lot of non-vegan Asian people actually eat this stuff themselves. Like, it's not always just the vegan Asians that eat this type of stuff. Like seitan, bean curd, soy, tofu. It's really, really big part of a lot of Asian cuisine. And it's so widely available because it is inexpensive to make So yeah, I don't think that's something that's kind of widely talked about, because I think it's important to kind of know that stuff. We can't just go around thinking that mock meats started because of Gardein or Beyond Burger and stuff like that. I think to me, Asian representation within the vegan movement is also about me connecting with other Asian vegans. Like, when I first went vegan, I felt like I had T as support, and, you know, we were on the journey together. But as an Asian person, I felt a little bit isolated because I didn't know any other Asian people in real life that were vegan. And then, actually a few months ago, there was an incident on Twitter. I'm sure you all know about it. And a lot of the Asian vegans on there were very vocal about this particular incident. And actually, but to me, that incident was actually kind of a blessing in disguise, because if it didn't happen, as bad as it was and as upsetting as it was to the Asian community, I was able to connect with more Asian vegans because of it, and I feel like I've got a really good community on there. There's a couple of girls on there that I've befriended, and we chat every day. We have a group chat, and it's just, it warms my heart, and it means a lot to me to be able to discuss my experiences growing up as Asian and now being a vegan, and the only vegan in my Asian family. So it's nice to have other people to talk to about those experiences. And I love my vegan Asian girl gang. Okay, last question is from Soy Milk Lover, who you might know her as Bubbles on Twitter. She's also a dear friend of mine. She's part of that vegan Asian girl gang that I discussed before, and I chat with her every day. So if you're not following her, her handle is Soy Milk Lover. What is your favorite vegan documentary? When it comes to vegan documentaries, and when you think about vegan documentaries, a lot of the ones that come to mind are like Dominion, Earthlings, Lucent, like all those horrible ones. I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite because it's actually like really awful to watch, but Dominion was really life-changing for me because it was actually the documentary that made me go vegan. But in terms of like my favorite vegan documentary, I guess it would have to be, I think it's a tie between Game Changers and What the Health. Like with Game Changers, it was just so nice and refreshing to see like strong, athletic people on a plant-based diet, and not just, you know, on a plant-based diet, thriving and achieving things on a plant-based diet. Like, and that was when I really started my like kind of fitness journey, when Game Changers came out. So that was really, really inspirational to me. It was just great to see other people kind of on a similar journey. You know, that was really inspiring for me. And What the Health, to me, What the Health was more educational. I didn't know about like all the ties that animal agriculture had to like certain organizations like the Heart Foundation, Breast Cancer Foundation, stuff like that. And it was mind-boggling to me. It kind of blew my mind. Okay, I've got 3 bits of tofu left, but I'm getting really full. Really sweaty. Like, kind of a bad idea to have like a hot ramen steaming in my face on a really hot Melbourne day, but I really wanted to show you guys this recipe because it's just so easy, and you just sort of chuck whatever in. Like, you don't even actually have to put in what I put in. You can just keep it really simple, put in some whatever vegetables you have. Like, any vegetables will work with instant ramen, but I promise you, if you bulk it up, it will keep you full. I usually get tea to help me eat these types of dishes because I can never finish it on my own, but I think I did really well today. I ate everything, and like I had all the broth as well. Oh, and that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much all for watching. Thank you for those of you who submitted your questions. I hope I was entertaining for you all, and I hope that, you know, my vegan instant ramen hack is something that you'd be able to use yourself in future. Thanks guys, bye.